Hello, guys. Welcome to the second episode where we investigate the all-in Grenadiers. I guess that unit is right here. You can kind of see him. If you want to see him in action, we're about to. Red Phosphoru, when this Civ first came out, was very excited to play with this unit, and actually did play with this unit. And I made a video on that. And because this one's going to be a little bit shorter than my average cast, if you haven't seen that one yet, it's definitely worth looking at. Because this Grenadier unit is it's a crazy hand cannon unit in Castle Age. It's very strong. And it's kind of funny. So when there's new civilizations or there's any additions to the game, there's different types of players. At the highest level, though, I'd say majority of meta players immediately think all the new things are bad if it's not really obvious. And then what happens is they get to see it in action. And once somebody else shows them, like, oh, crap, this thing is actually really strong in some unique scenarios, then suddenly they're doing it, right? And that's happened over the years, too, with build orders and strategies and team games, too. And so most people are in Arabia, they like to play scouts, they like to play archers. They think about the other bonuses the Jurchens might have, like the hunted livestock animals don't decay, mounted units, attack 20% faster, blah, 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 blah. But in like those normal scenarios, no one looks at this unit and says, "Man, that can be really strong." But I've said it before. I said it in that other video. This unit can be very strong, and so the reason I bring all this like history up, and I think it's funny, is the devs buffed the unit, and I was like, "Whoa!" They made it stronger, but did they see how good it is? So I don't know. Maybe the devs did see how good it was, and they thought we want to make it better. But the changes they made in the somewhat recent patch to the Grenadier listed there, and so they increased the attack. They made it cheaper as well. So yeah, that's what Phosphoru is going to go for. And what's fun about this one, also love how Phosphoru kills all the goats because he's Jurchens. It doesn't decay. That still feels very uncomfortable to look at, but oh god, I actually can't look there. But anyways, long story short. Is Andy's actually going to play kind of meta against this? So sometimes when people are playing up against Phosphoru, we can slow it down now, sorry. They're going to play like Fast Castle or their own like counter play to him. But here is a normal opening against this Jurchen play, and we'll see how it pans out. Andy's playing as the Chinese. You guys probably know the story with the Chinese already. This Civ has a really strong eco because they start with the extra vills and have the cheaper techs. This Civ does usually struggle with the build that Andy is going to attempt here. Careful, Andy. That wolf is very hungry. But Man-at-Arms is not very easy. If you want to get Man-at-Arms, Villager production, and also get your eco upgrades, you're going to have a perfect start. And even with a perfect start, it's kind of tricky. But Andy does at least know exactly what type of pressure is going to be coming in. And both players lose their scout. I could kind of have a dual funeral there. And here come the militia. Phosphoru obviously knows he's going to be pressured. And again, the plan for him is to get to Castle Age. So he's going to snag a loom now. And he will go Market Blacksmith. Obviously, he knows there will be the Man-at-Arms. I believe he also saw that there were going to be villagers here. And let's see if Andy's idle TC ticks up a little bit. So we just got a couple more seconds. Like, look at how difficult it is for Andy to keep villager production rolling here. This is a tough build. You also have the two villagers going forward. And those villagers now are going to drop a tower. Now, I don't know how many games Andy has played against Phosphoru. I don't love this tower. I feel like this archer is already going to force these villagers away. I would have preferred that Andy get the tower a little bit more aggressively. Like maybe near the woodline or something. But he didn't have the scouting because he lost his scouts, so maybe that's part of it. And at this level, it's commit as quickly as you can. And so he's doing that now. You know what? I can kind of tell. I think he's trying to wait for those villagers to run this way. That's what it is, actually. So he's waiting. Phosphoru's going to see the tower. Phosphoru has to immediately run. And now he's hoping to have the archers just kind of waiting to swoop in there. Andy, so close, but doesn't get that villager somehow. Actually, how does he not kill that villager? What? So villager's on 2 HP. Oh, did I just... Wait. Ah, okay, never mind. It didn't hit. That's why. We continue on. Phosphoru, I mean, this is extremely risky, but he's on his way to Castle Age. He sold his stone, and now he can't tower, right? That's why I said if you actually save that tower, and you tower right now, I think you're doing a whole lot more. And to make the Grenadier, you need food and gold. So the gold is kind of the biggest one, and Phosphoru needs to get to an archer range to make this. So it's extremely risky. It's all in. It always is with Phosphoru. And behind this, Andy's actually adding eco with a pretty good eco sieve. He's got some farms. He's got some eco upgrades. He's still producing more vills, of course. And one house is down. 25 seconds away from Castle Age is Phosphoru. And Phosphoru just waiting for that archer range now. There it is. And let's see if Andy can kill any more villagers. Man, it's crazy. Say what you want about the strats, but it's absolutely crazy how fast the Castle Age is. Like, everything is at the absolute limit. Like, he cannot produce another villager if he wants a second Grenadier. But it's still unreal how, like, kind of normal this is when watching him now. So he queues up 2 Grenadiers. But here they are. So they throw bombs. And it has, like, blast radius. You see that? So you don't actually have to hit the target to do damage to it. You can be next to it. And I found that they're perfect in these scenarios, right? It's like a high attack, low HP unit. And it's not very mobile. So the more you get, the faster, the better they are. Obviously, someone like Hera or Viper or whatever, they're going to look at this unit and say, well, it's not really that good. Because they play like a normal opening. But I think it has its situations. It looks quite cool as well. So anyways, here we go. Andy's just hoping to buy time right now. And you can tell that these bombs are destroying the man-at-arms. It should as a Castle Age unit, I suppose. But yeah, Andy's still not anywhere close to clicking up the Castle Age. He does have the villager lead. But we'll see where that goes. Had a couple archers over here. This bomb is throwing this... this unit's throwing some bombs to get those archers away. And Phosphoru now adding some vills, adding some farms for some natural food eco. And he knows he needs to get to Andy's base. And he does know that Andy is here. So, Andy kind of has a decision to make here. You have 2 choices. Option 1, and I don't think Andy necessarily knew how good archers would be against this. So option 1 is you just continue to produce archers and hope to get to Castle Age naturally, which is what he's going to opt to do here. Option 2 is you don't save any res and you go all in yourself and you spend nonstop with like scouts as well. But this is your more typical approach, trying to get to Castle Age. But Andy already built the forward tower, so he can't defend this. And the bombs, they be a knocking on the front door right now. Now, guys, if you engage against this unit, you need to go spread formation, okay? Don't group up like this. Because when you group up like this and they hit you, they're going to do splash damage on the whole group. So you really have to spread out. It's easier said than done. But these archers got really damaged there. 2 archer units went down. And Andy was hoping that with range units of his own, he'd be fine here. He's got 5 range. The Grenadiers got 6. And so it's really hard to do that, especially when, I mean, the Grenadiers have 12 base attack. The archers are so weak in comparison. But Andy does build the market. Andy is about to click up to Castle Age. But Phosphoru has 10 Grenadiers. And Andy only has 6 weak archers right now. Make it 3. Now, one of the things that Andy is probably the best at, the reason he's so good, is he's so good at defending in really awkward situations. It actually changes his whole style. Like, he can go low army numbers and hold better than some of most players in the world. So now he's got a damage control. He's basically got no answer to this. And believe me, all these villagers are going to get flattened if he doesn't buy himself a little bit more time. He's lost 4 villagers already. He's going to lose 5 villagers now. The tower, though, is going to be on the way up. He drops a gate. He tries to drop a house as well. And these Grenadiers have slaughtered so much, guys. 8 villager kills already. Now we got Grenadiers on the gold. Still 90 seconds away from Castle Age is Andy. And now he can't really take this wood line because the Grenadiers are going to sit behind it. I think Andy kind of thinks he's trapping those units there, but he's losing so much, guys. He lost 3 more villagers here. And you only need the archer range for this unit. And they're just... They're just coming so fast. And so now, this is just such a classic situation when you play against heavy pressure is you make it to the next stage and you're like, well, now what? Like, you almost wish you didn't even go to Castle Age in this instance because Andy can barely get anything. But he is going to make it. And you're always telling yourself when you're up against this type of strat that your eco is better, which it still actually is. So he's not wrong. But yeah, this is bad. Another archer goes down. Now check this out. Andy knows Phosphoru might be coming forward with the siege workshop, and there's 3 archers. Snipe that villager. And so that's huge because Phosphoru wants to siege pressure this TC. This gives Andy a little bit more time. Phosphoru obviously sees his opponent isn't on gold or wood where he was before. So now he's looking to see what's going on. And here comes a knight. And the knight's here to clear this up. And so the knight will clear up these 3 units. It's not too bad. And another villager should be wandering forward for Phosphoru eventually. Still don't see it, actually. But he's starting to group up. And Andy's got another random villager. That villager dies too. Okay. So, guys, if you're getting punched in the face and you're losing everything, sometimes it's better off just getting units to the opponent's base. Andy right now is thinking that knights are pretty good against this. Keep in mind, these are knights with no upgrades, but they don't really seem that good against these units. Like, they die super quick. So I think now maybe, here comes the villager from Phosphoru. Maybe what you can do is if you have better economy, you could go for skirms. You could go for, like, range units, because crossbowmen would actually outmass them. But in this instance, Andy can't really go for any units that need upgrades, because he's, quite frankly, at the limit with resources. And that siege workshop for Phosphoru is going to go up. Now, Phosphoru, this is where, like, he's already a very dangerous player, don't get me wrong, because he commits and he hits you and he's constantly being aggressive. Like, he's got different groups checking. Andy not realizing this now because Andy's running away from here. But if he could honestly right now just forget about the siege workshop, drop a second TC, and just boom. Like, he's already producing villagers. He got an eco upgrade. He could play a normal game from here. If he could just do that, he becomes even more dangerous as a player. But he's commit, be aggressive. And so Andy's got rocket carts now. I was really happy to see how this game played out, because it's clear to me that this seems to kill feudal age units very, very well. But I wanted to see, how does Castle Age fare? And as you can see, even the rocket cart's not enough for those Grenadiers. So boom, they go down. And Andy's got to be scratching his head like, what is this crap? Why did the devs buff this? Why did they buff it? This is not me speaking. This is Andy speaking, past tense. Why buff this unit? It was already insane. That's what he was probably thinking. He's still holding on. A lot of people would have called it. He's still not going to call it. And he's hoping that his own rocket carts could maybe get the job done. Look at his res right now. Barely able to afford that rocket cart. And here comes Phosphoru focused. And he hasn't had anything to deal with at home. I keep looking back home. He hasn't been hit at all. He's got a villager walking forward here. Did notice that Phosphoru had some idols. And I think he just told all of his idols to go build farms. I'm not really sure why he's got... Well, you're gonna see why I'm paying attention to that in a second. Not really sure what's happening. But he's fully focused on the attack. And the rocket cart sneaks out of the side there from Andy. And Andy obviously needs like a 1 for 3 and then some engagement. Because he needs 1 for 3 and then he also needs to kill these Grenadiers. And he's trying. Phosphoru's got a villager lead. Phosphoru's got a 20-some population lead. And Andy's rocket cart only fired 1 rocket, and Andy doesn't get the kill. And Andy's got to be like, are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? He's out of golds right now. He needs a good engagement. Andy gets the good engagement to hold on. He is clinging to the edge of a crumbly cliff right now, Andy. Barely holding on. Super desperate. He has to sell stone to get gold at this point. And there go the knights. Those knights are going to head over. when you play against a player who's all in, sending something to their base can make micro a little bit more difficult in these scenarios. Phosphoru getting hit. Phosphoru needs to kill Andy right now. Things could start to get a little bit hairy here. Rocket cart is weak. Andy will repair. Andy will garrison now. Andy cannot lose that rocket cart. And he does not. And now the knights are through. Okay, so watch how this changes the fights here. Or we'll see if it does at all. Here, we got the rocket cart going down. Now, still no reaction. Andy's not even looking either. They're both looking here. Okay, that rocket cart goes down. Andy's going to need another one. But now Phosphoru has to look away a little bit. And these knights get through. Now, he does react very nicely there. Gets the house walls down. But he's now off of gold, which means he can't make rocket carts as easily. And that's a really good example. I'm going to actually replay what happened over here. Because as he's getting the house walls down, his units are just a little bit too close. And yeah, you can tell. There he goes, the house walls. His units are a little too close. He's going to lose 1. He's going to lose 2, 3 units to the TC. And he's still, again, barely alive here. He's going to make another rocket cart if he can. But the knights are still here. And a Phosphoru sent a bunch of villagers forward. Now, I think what that is... I think he spam clicks select all idols, and he just is used to there just being like one idol, and he needs the repair bills. I'm not really sure. But that attack made things extremely messy for Phosphoru to a point where he wasn't really prepared to deal with it. And guys, like, Andy's below 100 in every single resource here. He still could barely keep this TC up, but he's holding on. The garrison's the TC again. We'll get a couple more kills. We'll hop back in again, hope to get a couple more kills. This TC can't be, it can't actually be repaired anymore. Knights are still camping on the gold. Phosphoru's villagers are all kind of wandering around. He doesn't have gold income either. And this is now 32 pop for Andy and 47 for Phosphoru. So soon no TC gaming for Andy. He did get 1 relic. That 20 gold that he's brought in, 22 gold now. It's kind of nice. Again, still seeing Phosphoru with villagers around the map. Not entirely sure. I think he's just super focused. He's like, if I take the engagements here, I win. And again, guys, don't call me blind. This is actually just my plan to make it clear to you how much multitasking is needed. Another rocket cart gets sniped. Andy now lands another rocket cart shot. He's got a monk here hoping to convert. He's lost 28 vills this game. He's actually at 23 now. It is 38 villagers for Phosphoru. There's only 5 Grenadiers for him. He can't make any siege. And even though he has 39 vills, they're not exactly working. They're kind of just standing around right now. The knight is here. Phosphoru will attack the knight with the villagers. That's all he has right now. And Andy will run around with it. And Andy has taken the score lead. Even though he feels kind of dead right now, the knight's still running around. Still running around. That's more idle time here for Phosphoru. And the rocket cart now, the only line of defense for Andy. And he backs away with it. He loses 1. He gets 2 kills. And another rocket cart is here. He still doesn't have any mineable gold. And Phosphoru is going to make 1 more rocket cart here. They are both so dead. Look, the knight is still running around, bro. Andy is still doing this. That's so funny. And now the rocket cart sees an opportunity. Rocket cart misses. Rocket cart. Rocket cart. Oh, that's crazy micro from Phosphoru. But the knight might actually be able to snipe these. This knight is attacking 2 vills now. The knight kills 1, 2. The knight's going to kill 3. The knight's going to kill that vill. This rocket cart now needs to be repaired. This knight's now being microed. He's going to go for the villagers. Rocket cart is going to... Well, here it's going to go down for Phosphoru. Here, it's going to stay up, actually. And the knight just died after doing so much. And now some of the idols that Phosphoru had here get spotted. And they're all going to get slaughtered by the knight and the rocket cart. And Andy has held on. It was like 23 vills versus 40. His whole base was massacred. He's held on. And Phosphoru, I think, really disappointed with maybe what he considers to be a throw in this scenario because he had such a good position. And he just says, you pros and your mango micro to cover for strat. So I don't know exactly what that is implying. Like, I think maybe that could be taken as, like, he thinks his own strategy is better. He thinks he was in the better position. But because his opponent just had better skill with weaker units, that they won. But here's the thing. Like, I feel as though it was just a really good game overall. The difference maker wasn't the mango micro. The difference was the knights and the chaos inside the TC. You could tell where things clearly went wrong for Phosphoru. When he got hit at home, when there was a distraction, then the micro here was worse. So yeah, if you look at it surface level, you could say that Andy had better mango micro. But I mean, at the end of the game, there was only one for Andy. There was 0 for Phosphoru, and they both made 5. So I really think it was a combination of the other things. It was also like all the repairing, all the in and out of the town center stuff. Like Andy was just hanging on by a thread, and he ends up getting the job done. But while this is a loss for Phosphoru with this strategy, I do think the strategy is really, really strong, and it can really surprise people on Arabia because, as demonstrated, you could tell that they killed off archers very, very easily. And I think most people are going to do exactly what Andy does, where they like poke and prod with some army and feudal, and then they try and go castle age. And by the time Andy made it to castle age, it felt like he was completely dead. So if you're aggressive enough with this and make enough of this unit right now, I think it can be pretty good on Arabia. But as you also saw, it's very flimsy. So I don't actually think the unit is like super overpowered. I don't think it's super busted, by the way. I'm still a little bit surprised the devs buffed them, but there's clearly some counters. And it's kind of a niche unit too. I'm not really sure how the unit performs in normal scenarios or late game Castle Age and Imperial Age because, well, no one's playing them. So I can do some research on that for you. And I am just going to show you like just kind of a moment from another game here real quick because normally I show you multiple. Let me show you another way that this can play out against this strategy. Okay, so yeah, we're not going to just cast the whole thing, but I'm going to go through. And obviously, I know when Phosphoru picks a Civ, I kind of know what he's going to do. Jurchen's meant Grenadiers for me. There's a chance like he could try and go Fire Lancers, which might actually be better against my adaptation here. But I have gone for the Khmer, which I really like because I'm able to do a lot of damage early and have a really good economy. And I've shown you guys as my scouts here just to see what he's up to, just to be annoying. And I'm actually forward because I know Phosphoru really likes to do the chicken funnel thing. What was I talking about? Why I picked Khmer? Sorry, completely lost my train of thought because of these freaking chickens. And also there was a lot happening. But my plan was to go aggressive in Feudal Age, and then I just adapt a little bit differently than Andy did. So I wanted to show you this game to give you some perspective on other things you can try. So he wanted to do the funnel thing and build all these walls and like push the chickens against the walls and have them going towards the TC. And I was like, nope, not having it. And I built a mill and wanted to go very fast archers. And again, we kind of know what he's going to do. Now, his map isn't nearly as wallable as the map we saw in the previous game. Like, that was really hard to punish. So I'm going to open archers. He actually lost his scout there on the wood line. And he did see I was going to go archers because he saw the archer range. And I'm going to show you the adaptation. Just in the off chance you're up against this Grenadier thing, I want you to keep this in mind. Because I feel like somewhat responsible that if you guys face up against this stuff, you need to have some information on what can work against it as well. So obviously, fast archers is quite nice because usually he goes for a lot of small walls otherwise with melee units. So I got a fletching in very quickly. We were able to actually kill a villager building the barracks, and we also killed a villager here. So that's very good. And I know he's going to make a couple Grenadiers, and I know that archers are going to have... they're going to be weak for me long term. So... this right here, maybe we go 2 times speed. This is actually where Andy said, okay, now we go Castle Age. And that's usually what people do on Arabia. They get damage, and then they go Castle Age. But when you're up against an all-in, you just need to hold against the all-in one time, and you win. So I was like, all right, let's try scouts then. And spend all this food instead of going to Castle Age. So running away with these archers. We also were really... You got to find where he's taking gold. So we were kind of sneaky here. And we get in. Especially when I'm not going to make any more archers. That's really good value. First Grenadier is here. And now I hop out and I get that kill too. So that's not bad. I think these other archers might have died. Yeah, it's 34 eco versus 17. Which seems like it should be just game over, right? But remember in the Andy game, he didn't kill these villagers, so there's a difference. But, like, he died to, like, 10 Grenadiers. He didn't have an answer. So, again, from my perspective, I'm just like, all right, let's just keep our vills alive. And let's just add scouts. And, of course, he has to attack. He can't wait because he took big losses. My archers are still hoping to get some damage. He comes in with these units. They're bombastic. He's going to harass on the other side of the wood line. My archers did die, by the way. And we snagged bloodlines. We snagged armor. We snagged forging. And I wanted to know, is that enough? And the answer is definitely. So I think this is a sneaky unit if you're not expecting it. But if you're ever up against it right now, I still think, at least in this type of scenario, you can just YOLO spam scouts at it. But that's not necessarily because of the unit. That's largely because of the strat. Like, the strat is still, don't create vills, go up at a super fast time. It comes at a cost. So, this is my favorite way to counter Fast Castle in general. Like, just endlessly spam scouts and hope for the best. And I like the Khmer because you could just have crazy eco. That was a little wasteful right there. I mean, this unit's still really, really strong. They're still killing a lot. But, again, this is where people are like, okay, let's go Castle Age now. We did enough damage. Nope. If you're up against an all-in and someone who's using the market, just freaking keep spamming. And so that's... I mean, it's a horrible engagement. Some of my units didn't even engage. I was annoyed with myself there. But it seems like, I guess, the 40 HP is a bit of a problem. And the scouts are just tanky enough to be able to tank some of those shots. Plus, they have the mobility, and then the game's over. So, I mean, 46 vills versus 18 there. I just wanted to show you guys this because, again, I think the unit's strong. I think if you send a lot of pressure at this, it's maybe not one of the strongest fast castles or scariest fast castles out there. But that's just my take. That's just my experience. I did show in the other games that if people aren't expecting it, it could be absolutely unreal. And that's funny with any strategy. It's like you got to surprise people. I think that's part of what makes a lot of strategies good. And then when it runs its course, Phosphoru or other people just switch on to different strategies. So just wanted to show you that. This can help you prevent running into that scenario where Andy was if you're up against the Jurchens. But you got to play your normal type of strategy as well, guys, because people are playing the Jurchens for maybe other reasons that I could explore. Iron Pagoda might be a little too pricey to justify right now, but that's a really strong unit later on. Mounted units and Fire Lancers attacking faster. That's a nice bonus for this Civ too. So there are different things that can come your way. Don't just assume if anyone's playing the Jurchens that they're going to be doing this. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please give me all your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video.